Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre, and in this video we'll be looking at a phenomenal watch from Omega, the first Omega to ever appear on this review channel. We have the Omega Seamaster Diver 300 meter in a white dial, black ceramic bezel. So if you are new here, on this channel we cover watches we carry as an authorized dealer at teddybaldassarre.com, as well as our flagship boutique in Cleveland, Ohio. So in this video, deep dive on this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end, but also throughout the video, you have further questions. Check out the link in the description down below where you can reach out to one of our client advisors or book an appointment to come visit us in our boutique. But guys, without further ado, let's jump into the video and take a closer look at this watch. Out of Omega's massive modern collection, there are essentially two model families that have grown beyond the scope of watch enthusiasm to become true icons in mainstream luxury for men all around the globe. One is, of course, the Speedmaster, backed by its legendary NASA associations and pioneering lunar history. And the other is the personal watch of none other than James Bond, the Seamaster Diver 300. Released in 1993 before exploding into the public eye in 1995's GoldenEye on the wrist of the very suave Pierce Brosnan, the Diver 300 has been at the forefront of Omega's undersea lineup for no less than 30 years. Backed by the Seamaster family's rich history as well as some of the most impressive movement tech and finishing in its price range, the Diver 300's distinctive 1990s format balances its throwback feel with a surprising sense of modernity. Feeling, at least for me, every bit as relevant in 2024 as it was all the way back in 1993. Of course, as you'd imagine, the Seamaster Diver 300 has not remained the same over the course of 3 decades. Priced around $6,000 on the bracelet, I'm prepared to argue the most recent evolution of this model family, which debuted in 2018, sets the standard for how a luxury dive watch should look and perform in this price range. While the family is available in several different dial colors, case materials, and a range of limited editions, we'll concentrate on the popular white dial variant of the most basic Diver 300, lovingly nicknamed the Polar Seamaster. Where the original Diver 300 debuted in a 41mm case in '93, the up-to-date Seamaster Diver 300 is 42mm in diameter, 13.6mm thick, and 49.7mm from lug tip to lug tip. Now, considering some of the rise that we've seen of late with smaller case dive watches, the Diver 300 in some instances feels a bit more on the larger side for some, while presenting an excellent option for anyone blessed with an average to larger size wrist. But despite these broader metrics in play, I would also argue that this watch wears just a bit smaller than its stated dimension set and does benefit greatly from the heavily faceted architecture and the amount of visual real estate being occupied by the bezel. All things considered, I'd argue this watch wears more like a 41mm case. Adding to the wearing experience is one of the best bracelets in its price range, or any other for that matter. Set between 20mm lugs, the Diver 300 has long favored a format that could easily be described as feeling very much of the 1990s era, with a 5-link style with smaller inner polished links that lend an air of refinement. Over the years, a number of improvements have been quietly made to this bracelet, the newest version offering fully milled components, screw-adjusted links, and solid end links. Maintaining its 20mm width all the way through, the bracelet terminates with a 21mm clasp, offering a slick push-button micro-adjustment system that is about as good as any that I have used. Between the extra flexibility in the clasp and the included pair of half links, finding a perfect fit with this one is likely to be a straightforward affair for virtually anybody. If the sometimes polarizing look of the bracelet simply isn't for you, Omega also makes excellent fitted rubber straps for the Diver 300 that I would argue doesn't get enough recognition that it deserves as one of the better rubber straps on the market. Getting back to the central case and to get it out of the way right up front, this is probably one of the best finished dive watches under $10,000. Pairing this Diver 300's curvaceous architecture and lyre lugs with alternating brushing and polishing for an overall presentation that is more elegant than the vast majority of dive watches. Set between swooping crown guards, a fully polished 6mm screw-down crown bolsters the screw-down exhibition case back, enabling this to achieve 300 meters of water resistance. Because there's no other way around it, we will have to address this model's most single polarizing feature, the inclusion of a screw-down manual helium escape valve positioned at 10 o'clock. Theoretically intended to allow accumulating helium gas to escape during decompression after spending an extended period of time in a commercial saturation diving system, some say the helium escape valve in this case interrupts the otherwise clean design. Omega would argue this feature is necessary to call this a true professional diving watch. And in addition, this helium escape valve has become a part of this case silhouette and so recognizable, and a part of this design that is so hard to detach from. Further, you do have another option within the Seamaster family, the Seamaster 300, which is going to lean into the more heritage-inspired look and come without that helium escape valve on the outside of the case. At the top of the case, we have the distinctive 120-click unidirectional timing bezel, whose intriguing scalloped edge is also a part of the essence of what this watch is. Unveiled with the more traditional aluminum insert in the 1990s, the Diver 300 now follows the majority of luxury dive watches with a ceramic insert that has also been a part of this collection since 2011. In this case, executed in a deep black glossy execution with indices that are filled with multiple layers of enamel. While it's definitely harder to get a grasp of than some other bezels out there, the action is excellent, providing just the right amount of resistance and tactile feedback and no backplay to speak of. Set just within, we have a very slightly domed sapphire crystal for a barely there impression thanks to the anti-reflective coating that have been applied to both sides. And underneath, we have one of the most interesting dials in dive watch history. Like the bezel insert, the Seamaster Diver 300 dial is executed in ceramic denoted by the tiny ZR02 engraving just below the hand stack. For many watches, that would have been enough to be the major talking point, but this dial has a lot more going on. While it's not often the case for a dive watch given the importance of underwater legibility, the central surface has the wave motif that has become a pillar of the Diver 300's look. Achieved with laser engraving, the glossy white central ceramic dial surface gives way to a matte effect within the waves, serving up a look that varies from subtle to prominent depending on the lighting. While it's definitely busier than some divers, I would argue this is one of the most charming aspects of the Diver 300 as a whole. Dissecting the rest of the dial, at the outskirts, a unique interrupted minute track is printed in black. Moving in, applied circular and rectangular indices framed with glossy black metallic surrounds add depth while acting as a home for significant helping of superluminova. At 6, we have a neatly faceted date aperture that makes this most recent Diver 300 feel more symmetrical than some of its predecessors. The handset is another key element of the Diver 300, providing a broadened glossy black take on the bizarre skeletonized look pioneered by the 1993 version. Speaking to lume, the Diver 300 is equipped with 2 colors of superluminova, glowing blue for the basic timing functions and green for the minute hand and the bezel index, the most important aspects for actual diving duties. Dial text is in no short supply, with Omega's logo and Seamaster Professional at noon, with Seamaster in red text to complement the end of the seconds hand. At 6, we have 3 lines including coaxial, master chronometer, and 300 meters, 1,000 feet, speaking not only to the water resistance, but also the impressive caliber on the inside. Not often the case with dive watches, the Diver 300's caliber 8800 is in full view beneath the safety of a sapphire exhibition caseback, serving up a closer look at a tech-forward movement that is also relatively easy on the eyes. It would be fair to say that Omega has, compared to the majority of other major mass-market luxury brands, been instrumental in offering innovation to the often stale world of watch movement technology for decades, most prominently in the form of the coaxial escapement. Pioneered by Dr. George Daniels, the coaxial system utilizes 3 pallets rather than the traditional 2-pallet Swiss lever system in order to reduce sliding friction and increase the length of the service interval. Omega has leaned into the coaxial escapement since 1999 and now utilizes the system in the vast majority of its calibers, even being unveiled in the latest Speedmaster Professional. The 8800 caliber included in this Diver 300 offers the full suite of modern Omega movement tech, including master chronometer certification with the help of METAS, the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology, which includes 8 strenuous tests including up accuracy standard of 0 to plus 5 seconds a day, a range of deviation that is going to be tighter than COSC, while this also being done to the watch fully cased up. The watch also has the benefit of high resistance to magnetism, offering up a quoted resistance up to 15,000 Gauss. Apart from this, the 8800 utilizes a free-sprung balance with a silicone balance spring with bidirectional winding with the oscillating weight. Looking beyond the list of technical specifications, this caliber is also well decorated for its price, with spiral waves across the rotor and the bridges, beveling, and polished screw heads. The finishing is of course achieved by machine, but the fact that this upgraded caliber is visible at all, as well as being as attractive as it is a huge value proposition being offered by this piece. In terms of general specifications, we have 25,200 vibrations per hour, 3.5 hertz. It does feature hacking and hand winding, hacking stop in the seconds when you pull the crown to the farthest position, and a power reserve of 55 hours. So now to unpack, looking at the Seamaster Diver 300. So if a relative or a close friend, or say you watching, said you had $6,000 to spend on a watch, what would be the watch that you would recommend and where would you say to look? If I had to simplify things down, this would be one of the first watches that would come off my tongue. That's not to say that it's a watch that's going to work for everybody. It has this 1990s design feel that feels old in some ways and maybe dated in some ways. The helium escape valve is going to be polarizing for some, and it is a bit larger on the wrist compared to some of the trends that we've been seeing with dive watches as of late. But when you look at what a $6,000 watch should feel like on the wrist in 2024, this is one of those watches that checks off the boxes in many ways. The finishing across the board with the case, the bezel, the dial, the indices of the dial itself, the hands, the movement on the back side with the specs to go along with it, very tight range of accuracy that's acceptable, resistance to magnetism, master chronometer certification, free-sprung balance architecture, 300 meters of water resistance, ceramic bezel, you have the James Bond connection, many different variations to go for. But if you were somebody that didn't want the Bond connection as much, but just want a versatile option for a dive watch with this amount of budget in mind, maybe even looking for your first luxury dive watch, this one with the white dial is especially good. It's versatile, it falls in line with the rest of the catalog of the Seamaster Diver 300 that has become so beloved by so many people out there and has become almost a gateway to luxury watchmaking for so many for a few decades now. This watch isn't going to be for everybody. It has a specific design style, but that's what makes an icon. That's what makes a watch recognizable. It's what makes a watch stand on its own. And the Omega Seamaster Diver 300 stands very proudly with an upright position, great posture while we're at it, and probably is the best dive watch you can find for the money in its range. So thank you again all so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more coverage of interesting watches like this one. In addition, if you are in the market for this piece, you can find it available at teddybaldassarre.com as well as at our flagship boutique in Cleveland, Ohio. Each product we sell comes with customer support from our team of watch experts, is backed with a full factory warranty, and each sale allows us to invest back into future productions, helping to educate watch lovers all around the world about horology. Well, thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.